Hello everybody, welcome back to the Potting Shed. Answering a couple of questions today from people who've submitted through the site. The first question we're going to answer very quickly is how much money do you spend on your setup for all your seed trays? What do you buy? Do you buy pellets? Do you buy soil? Do you make your own? How do you do it? So, very simple. 3 golden rules that I like to have when we're starting seeds. Reuse, recycle, and rewash. Okay, and how that all works is you'll find lots of these little plant pots, all these little 6-packs you've bought things in the past. I keep all those, I wash them, and then we recycle and reuse them. Okay, so that's the basic stuff, and you'll see here different sizes for different things. This is one that obviously we bought a little while ago. And it had an accent annual in it. Now it's got a dahlia in it that we're growing in that. So yes, it's not very pretty. Nothing's all uniform and exactly the same, but this is gardening. Nothing is going to be pretty at this stage. We're just starting the seeds. We're getting everything going, and starting seeds is the best thing you can do. One thing that I really like to do, I have right here one of my favourite little starters, and it's very easy and very cheap. Just an old egg carton. Take the top off, and we've got nice little contained modules there for growing seed in. And part of my reuse recycle, and some of you may recognise this, yes, that's the back of a COVID test kit. We're using those as our plant markers. So everything we're trying to do is to minimise our environmental impact. So in terms of soil, peat-free compost if you can. That's the best thing I like to do for a nice potting mix. And you can buy it in the supermarket, the hardware store, the garden centre, wherever you go. One thing that I do with my soil is I generally add a little bit of this stuff. You may have seen this earlier. This is vermiculite. It just helps the condition and break up some of the kind of the heavier potting mixes. The other thing that I like to do with my vermiculite is this, and this is one that you may have seen me do in an earlier video. This is obviously the top of an egg box carton. You can see there, eggs. We filled it with some soil, and then I sprinkled some vermiculite on top, because what I'm growing in here requires the moisture to be trapped like up against the soil for the seed to germinate better. Also, because we keep it here on the shelf, and this glass shelf gets quite warm during the day, we don't want the top of the soil to bake. So when we're thinking about seeds, those little seeds are going to be encouraged to kind of sprout up when they feel the water and the moisture. Okay, so we're trying to capture that moisture. So I put a thin layer on top of vermiculite just to trap it in there. Okay, so that's how we do it. Then watering. Trick to watering all of this stuff is not to waste water. You don't want to waterlog everything. You don't want them all sitting and standing in water, because what's going to happen, especially with our little seeds that we're starting here in our egg boxes and our small trays, we just want the tops of the soils to be wet. We're not trying to waterlog them. So what I use is a little spray bottle, and we just spray the tops. Nothing high powered, just a little bit of moisture in each one every day to keep them moist. Not waterlogged, just moist, and control it using a spray bottle. Some people give them a good old drink and have the soil all swimming around and stuff, but that's not ideal either. And then after a couple of weeks, or in this case just a week, you can see here I've used a plastic food container here, we should get little seeds sprouting out. Now, once they've germinated and we're at this stage, we've got little baby leaves on, because that's the first set of leaves we're going to see. We have to kind of keep them moist. We have to kind of keep that moisture going, because what we don't want them to do, we don't want them to just to dry out completely and die. If you are using a heat mat or a sunny window spot like I've got going on here, you don't want them to have too much sun, because remember that sun's going to bake them and going to suck out the moisture, and you're going to have to water a lot more. So what I have is a little shady spot. So this is the Cosmos that we've had going on. You can see these have got their second sets of leaves, and these are going to be ready to pot on very soon. and we keep them not on the window ledge the whole time, but just on a little table I have down here, so they get enough daylight but they're not in the baking sun. Okay, so if you have things that want average daylight but don't want to be baking hot, don't necessarily keep a lot of stuff on here. Okay, not at this stage anyway. As they grow their second set of leaves, we'll start to kind of move things around, and you can kind of see here what I mean by that. These are our dahlias that are all coming on rather nicely. These are actually on a table, on a bit of staging similar to this just in front of me, and these are up against the window, but there are blinds on the window. Purpose of that is we can close the blinds later in the afternoon to kind of stop them kind of getting too much sun and drying out completely. So what do I mean by drying out completely? I know that's what someone's going to ask. Easy way to tell if something needs watering. Obviously seedlings, water them every day. Wet your finger, if it comes up like that, it needs a bit of water. We don't want them to swim, we just want them to be moist. These dahlias, because they're in slightly bigger pots, we can actually water from the bottom, so we actually have them in a container, a flat container, and then maybe I can lift this up and show you without dropping everything. So I just put some water in the bottom and that reaches the roots of those. But remember, that's because these are all a few inches tall and these have been in a good month, okay? For the seedlings, you don't want to do that just yet because they're only just little babies. Okay, well, happy gardening, everybody. I'm going to go get a cup of tea. Bye!